clicked the right button, didn't I? Okay, good. Alright, yeah, it's live now.
Your gameplay's looking a little dark, Harry.
Yeah, that's because my Switch is sleeping.
What are you playing?
Link's Awakening again.
Oh, Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
Remember during one of them you were playing DMC, Devil May Cry.
Oh yeah, yeah. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do that again because that's a game that I kind of need to have my full attention on, and I was playing awfully last time.
Oh, yeah. Because DMC is just fun though.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kind of cut off your intro, Scrappy.
What intro? I don't have any intro. I don't plan this stuff.
I mean, this is your
Hello,
show.
oh, we're on. Hi, folks. This is Storytime with Scrappy. My name is ScrappyFan92.
My name's Tanner.
Yes, Tanner is returning. Yes, Tanner is tired, and he is returning to us after a brief absence.
Yeah, it's Return of the King, baby.
Hail to the king, baby.
Yeah.
With us again, against his will, is Harry.
51?
Alright.
And Nova.
Hello.
Hey.
We're recording today on a Tuesday because Monday just was not working out for any of us. We're gonna try and
Tuesday. I am very tired, so my brain is just gonna be like a roulette wheel of, I don't know, references, I guess. So,
It's fine.
brain usually. I'll try to bring as much enthusiasm as I can.
Alright.
I'm trying to bring as much of.
that's all we ask.
Yeah, because I love like any. And Scrappy has risen from the grave. How do you feel, zombie Scrappy?
Whew. Well,
Imagine if you were a zombie and you woke up from the grave and your first thing was, "Ugh."
do zombies have to? You know what? I'm not even gonna ask. Alright, so when we last left off, we were reading. When we last left off, we were reading Make Our Ascent, a love life story, and I hope you've watched the other parts because I'm not recapping everything.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
Previously,
Huh?
yeah. Well, let me rephrase that. We won't recap the story of Love Live, the actual show, but we can
yeah,
recap
yeah.
the story.
Mm-hmm.
Previously, Umi, our protagonist, she died. That's like my voice.
Oh, fuck! I was gone for a bit too long here. Jesus, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, she died of embarrassment when her friend Maki kind of tricked her into coming back to Japan, not Japan, to her hometown to meet her old friends.
Died of embarrassment when she learned she was in an episode of Storytime with Scrappy.
It's called The Ugly Hometown. Once there was an ugly hometown. It was so ugly that everyone died. The end.
Umi died. The end.
Oh god.
Firmly grasp it.
I can't grasp anything, Tanner. Like, I can't grasp basic grammar. Everyone knows this.
Firmly grasp.
Oh, there's just an easy joke that, like, I feel like you know the first joke that popped in my mind.
Yeah, moving on. So, yeah, Umi's back in her hometown to meet with her friends for the Christmas break. Kind of against her will. And this is where the rest of the cast of Love Live, the original series, is supposed to be reuniting in, as far as I know.
I'm gonna come from
Yeah.
the portal.
So, yeah, a lot of voices.
Yeah, we were supposed to have more people for this chapter, but Tanner and Nova are the only ones who show up here on the regular.
That's right. What do we win? Or can you not say that without getting demonetized?
You win the respect of a guy you've never seen in person. Cherish it.
You know what? That's fair. That's any type of respect I receive nowadays.
2020 is great.
Indeed.
Just kidding. Nova doesn't respect me either.
I'm recording right now.
And with a special guest, we have.
Yeah, my mother was asking me a question. She's trying to give me her superior mattress because mine's old.
Nice.
I was gonna like talk about my mattress, but then I was thinking to myself, I can't imagine asking, hey, what's your favorite episode of Storytime or Scrappy? I like the one where they talked about mattresses.
God.
At least I'll have something to remember this episode by.
The mattress episode, good.
Yeah, title it like the episode where we talked about mattresses.
What is this show?
Wait, listen to this. You ever had a good mattress smack? Good quality mattress smack.
We haven't even done anything yet.
Let's start the fic before more fucking nonsense continues.
Once again, we are reading Ottermelons till we make our ascent. Chapter 4, Rhythm, Chord, and Melody. And you could see it in her eyes. She had run out of tears to cry. Now she turned and walked away. 7 years gone to waste. The reign of Kindo, city lights and traffic sounds. Raising an unsteady hand to the... Oh gosh. Raising an unsteady hand to the doorbell. Umi pressed it at... Oh, for Pete's sake. Umi pressed it after several seconds of deliberating. She could hear the low chime echo somewhere inside her house, followed by a familiar coming. Her mother slid open the door, wearing an apron over her normal clothes. Umi? She smiled widely and pulled her daughter into a rather fierce hug. Welcome home. Oh gosh. Welcome home. You didn't tell us when you were coming back. Sorry for dropping in so unexpectedly. Umi gingerly returned the hug while she struggled to form the words around her mother's grip. Not at all. Releasing Umi, her mother held her at arm's length, beaming all the while. Oh, why isn't your father here? He'll be disappointed when he comes home and you've already settled in. Where is father? Umi asked. It wasn't like him to leave the dojo often, as far as she knew. Oh, he'll be back soon enough, her mother muttered. Umi frowned. She had the feeling that her mother wasn't entirely focused on her. Now that you're home, I'm cooking dinner for all of us. Once your father comes back, we'll all eat and you can tell us how school has been. Umi silently nodded, but already her stomach began to knot with dread. How would she be able to spend her year and a half of college in a positive light? While her mother all but pushed her across the long hallway to her room, going on about how it was exactly as she left it and it was always there for her, Umi considered various angles in her head. I'll leave you to unpack, her mother said. Dinner will be ready in half an hour. Thanks. Umi closed the door behind her, and once she heard her mother's footsteps fade down the hallway, exhaled sharply. I'll just have to tell them that I've been focusing on my studies and that the job I worked in over the summer was a good learning experience. Yeah, Tanner, can we try those Zoom improv exercises next time.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's try some improv exercises. We can play Zip Zap Zop. We can just... Yeah, let's just do some improv. Let's yes and. Let's, be funny occasionally, because improv is, like, only funny 50% of the time.
Did I hear a squeak, or am I crazy?
Oh, I am so sorry. It's the parakeets again. I'm sorry.
No, it's totally...
No, it's fine. I have a bird of my own. I just was just wondering what the noise was. Your parakeet may participate as long as they want to.
I turned off this so you wouldn't hear the Discord ding coming in over and over, so...
That's fair. Where was it? Of course. Hear that explanation then. Just wanted the money. If she expressed anything resembling if she expressed anything resembling interest in such a career path of the family dojo would be brought up at least once.
Can you say that again? After, what is it? I think it's like after family something, you just cut out like tremendously.
This is an omen for some some shenanigans in the future. Umi was certain that the topic of the family dojo would be brought up at least once during dinner, and she, as the last heir, was expected to inherit it.
Okay, that came out right. Yeah, that's good.
That expectation did not change even after she left for college, and it was easiest for her to simply nod and go along with whatever they said. Just another reason I put off going home for so long. Umi groaned aloud. Glancing over her shoulder to make sure no one had heard, she shook her head. Excuse me. Cleaning up her room took priority over agonizing about her future. Flipping on the light switch on the adjacent wall and breathing an inadvertent sigh when it proved to work, she set down her suitcase next to the door and quickly walked over to her bed. Umi patted her bed sheets gently with an outstretched hand. Although she tried to keep a good distance between herself and her own bed. It hadn't seen use in more than a year, and she tried not to think about the little crawly creatures that could have made their homes in her sheets and frame in this time. So far, she had only succeeded in dislodging small puffs of dust from the covers, which gathered in the space above her bed, so that a large cloud now hovered uncomfortably close to her face. Oh gosh, they really did leave her room as it was. Of course, Umi wasn't going to stand for this. With some effort, she managed to force her window open, and it gave way with a somewhat concerning groan. At this, she turned around and placed her hands on her hips. The dust that had settled on her bed was already a clear indicator, but she still surveyed her room to confirm it with her own eyes. Everything was exactly how she had left it. She had never been partial to personalizing her room, and as such it contained little more than the bare necessities. A bed, a desk, and matching dressers and cabinets. A plain nightstand was situated next to her bed as well, and it was here that Umi walked. 3 pictures, similar in composition from afar, were lined up side by side. She picked up the last one, unsettling a fair amount of dust in the process. She blew off the rest of the dust from the picture frame, waving it towards the general direction of her window. Taking pictures for Pete's sake. Taking pictures alongside best friends was a 3, 2, 1, la 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 la. Taking pictures alongside best friends was a graduation staple for any high schooler, but it was Honoka who had first proposed the idea that that they replicate the same pose for each of their graduation pictures. More accurately, each picture was an attempt to improve upon the previous one. In their first graduation picture, on their last day of elementary school, Honoka had bounded a good foot and a half in the air, leaving a surprised Umi and Kotori to stare on either side of her. 2 years later, on the day of their middle school graduation, it was Honoka who remained grounded while Umi and Kotori jumped. Their third and final attempt, taken just outside of the cherry blossom laden entrance of Otono Kizaka. Oh dear. That's the name of their school, right?
That's the name of the high school, yeah.
It's been so long. Their third and final attempt, taken just outside of the cherry blossom laden entrance of their high school, was the only time they had gotten it right. It was the picture that Umi held in her hands now. Kotori, on the right, held her diploma with both hands over her head. Honoka brandished her own in one hand and flashed a peace sign with the other. And of course, Umi herself on the left, grinning just as widely as her two closest friends. They beamed with all the pride, disbelief, and wistfulness that they had felt on that day. And in that fleeting moment, their feet left the ground in perfect sync. When was the last time she had felt this happy? She couldn't bear looking at the photo for much longer. Placing it face down on the nightstand, she opened her phone to an unread text from Maki. And who would like to take the role of Maki tonight?
Me.
Alright then. Maki.
If you still haven't seen the chat, the plan is to meet up tomorrow after lunch. So around 1 or so.
Oh, that's right. Umi said aloud. I forgot to turn on notifications for our chat. Thanks, I won't be late.
I'll let you know when I'm outside your house.
Is that really necessary?
It is.
Fine. She must have spaced out while staring at her old graduation pictures because she had just started to gather her bed sheets when she heard her mother calling her downstairs for dinner. She supposed herself a decent cook, but upon opening the door to her room, she was met with the almost forgotten and sorely missed scent of a true home, of a true home-cooked meal with family. Let me try that again. She supposed herself a decent cook, but upon opening the door to her room, she was met with the almost forgotten and sorely missed scent of a true home-cooked meal with family. Opening the door, she turned around to give her room one more once-over in the dying daylight. Her suitcase lay open, still packed with hastily folded clothes. It could wait, perhaps a day or two, she decided. 2 weeks was a long time to be home after all. Let's see. I think that's Maki saying that line.
Alright, okay.
Oh, no, you're Maki, right? Duh.
Anyway, we're the last ones here, you know. Everyone's waiting for... And you.
No, you went ahead. It's are you ready,
What?
Umi, etc.
Fuck. Are you ready? Umi, what are you doing?
The girl in question still lingered on the stairs, a good 10 feet back from where Maki stood with her hand on the door handle. Can I just have a moment, please? Umi fiddled with a button on her coat, looking everywhere except at Maki. Her other hand slipped into her coat pocket and lingered on her crumpled sheet of lyrics. She had brought it along just in case inspiration struck while they were there, but more importantly to announce the status of the song to the rest of the girls. Hopefully, doing this now would clear up any potential misunderstandings. Maki looked like she was about to roll her eyes.
Well, the last one's here, you know. Someone's waiting for me. And you, even though that's a surprise.
That's exactly why I'm nervous. Umi sighed heavily. Her friends were behind that door. She didn't doubt that. What she did doubt was her chances of being greeted with warmth and positivity. She wasn't denying that she probably didn't deserve such friendliness, but she still wasn't ready for the curious questions that would potentially be aimed at her, especially if they had an idea of what had happened before she left for college. The thought made her tense visibly. She hurriedly buttoned her coat and stuffed her hand into its pockets. How about you go in first, and I'll come in when I'm ready, she tried. It was a stupid idea, and she knew it. But Umi still took I have hiccups. But Umi still took an instinctive step back when Maki removed her hand from the door and strode over to her. She grabbed Umi's arm before the older girl had time to react, and leaned in so Umi couldn't help but meet Maki's intense gaze.
I've gotten you this far. There's no way I'm letting you miss out when you're 2 feet away.
Maki tugged on her arm, and with Umi helplessly in two, and with Umi helplessly in... Oh gosh,
That's it. That's the fucking end.
Well, final thoughts, gentlemen.
Maki kills Umi, confirmed, end of fic.
I was not expecting that ending, to be perfectly honest with you. Alright,
Someone
fine.
dropped.
I don't know if Nova did that for the gag, or if he just genuinely dropped from the call.
I don't know. I'm actually kind of scared.
Fuck Nova. I don't know if he did that for the bit or not.
I can never tell with him.
I don't know, he's a funny guy.
He is, but he has he keeps such a general cool demeanor. I can't tell if he's taking a piss or not.
I don't know. If he's doing this, he's dragging out this joke for way longer than it needs to be dragged out. He did mention his internet was bad.
That's fair. I dropped out the call randomly earlier. Oh, but those of you listening in right now don't know that. That was from our first attempt.
Yep.
Yeah, we have multiple attempts.
Shit. Nova,
Welcome
okay,
back, Nova.
Did your internet
Hello.
disconnect, or did you just do that for the bit?
No, because Scrappy was becoming robotic, so I was wondering if it was my internet.
Okay. Because he was fine on my end.
We are gonna have a fun night tonight.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so tired.
I guess before we continue, I guess we should properly assign roles for the rest of Muse. Since I'm the only one who understands her depth, I will voice Nozomi.
Alright.
Let's see.
You get the high IQ to understand it.
Tanner, you seem like a Nico kind of person, so you can be Nico.
Fuck, of course. Of course. You know, I only know Nico because of memes. And
Oh,
I
of
don't know
course.
whether to take that as an insult or not, considering Nico is also associated with, like, Reddit culture. But you know what? I'll take that. Fuck.
I've actually seen the show, so I feel like Nico would just fit your kind of personality.
Yeah, I mean, like if you,
I'm funny Reddit girl.
like, if you barely know about Love Live, you probably at least know Nico.
Yeah, I've used
Because she's the
Reddit,
best.
unfortunately. Believe it or not, I have watched Silva Gunner.
Who would be energetic enough for Rin, though?
Harry.
No.
Yes.
I don't even have the story up.
Okay, okay. So my brother, I'm guessing he was talking about something else, but right after you said no, I heard my brother downstairs. Yeah. Which
See? The audience demands your presence.
the audience of my brother, who's probably not paying attention at all, demands your presence, Harry.
God.
You're already here.
I got the link, Harry. I can send it to you.
Damn it.
There's no way out, man. That's the slogan for this series. Story time with Scrappy. There's no way out.
Yeah, pretty much.
The hell?
Well, I'm basic, so I guess I get to voice Honoka as well.
Fair
Alright.
enough.
And you guys can fight over Hanayo, Ellie, and, Kotori.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I definitely know all of those names.
Where were we? Maki tugged on her arm, and with Umi helplessly in two, she returned to the door of Nozomi's apartment. Umi's arm fell limply to her side, and after another long sigh, she followed Maki wordlessly, who knocked on the door after Umi caught up. Clearly, her junior wasn't going to give her any more opportunities to second guess herself.
Right there?
Let me go through that one more time. Clearly her junior wasn't going to give her any more opportunities to second guess herself. I need to learn how to breathe.
You'll be fine.
Maki said, as if she knew what Umi was thinking. It wasn't too hard to figure out, she supposed, just as the handle turned and the door opened. Nozomi stepped out, a warm smile on her face. Umi could hear loud voices and laughter past the doorway. Their senior had her eyes on her. Oh gosh, darn it! Their senior had her eyes on Maki and hadn't yet noticed a guest that trailed behind her. Oh gosh, I forgot what Nozomi sounds like. Maki-chan, so glad you could make it. Nozomi's eyes drifted away from the pianist as she realized that someone was standing behind her. Umi-chan? She gasped. She gasped far too loudly for Umi's comfort, and her hand flew to her mouth in an expression of shock. Later, Umi would reflect on the events that followed and conclude that they were something straight out of a manga. Realistically, there was yeah. Realistically, there was no way that the girls inside should have been able to hear Nozomi's exclamation, given how loud the chatter and general atmosphere was from their spot outside the apartment. It was as if her first meeting with her former fellow idols was destined to be a dramatic, embarrassing, and general commotion.
Classic idol animation shenanigans. Let's go.
Exactly. In that moment, Umi stepped forward and opened her mouth, intending to shush Nozomi, but it was too late. She heard all of the conversation inside screech to a dead stop. Umi's eyes widened in horror, and I'm gonna presume that's Rin screaming. Harry.
Oh my god, you're...
Oh no.
Okay, fine, what... okay.
Friends in the audience, it's time for Harry's voice acting debut. Give him a warm round of applause.
It's gonna be horrible. Where is it? How far down are we?
Not far down enough. Umi's eyes widened in horror.
Okay, let me just use the find thing.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Obi-chan's here? Okay, God, that was
A
horrible.
high-pitched voice.
I mean,
No. You can do another try if you want to.
No, it's fine.
no, that was perfect.
A high-pitched voice exclaimed, laced with excitement. Rapid footsteps followed, approaching alarmingly close to the doorway. Nozomi saw what was coming and ducked her head, and a moment later, a bright orange head of hair popped out from the top half of the doorway. Her mouth opened in disbelief.
No way!
Rin disappeared momentarily. Rin disappeared momentarily behind a door again to yell.
Hey everyone, Obi-chan's here!
Can you add some meow noises to this, Harry?
I would love to do that, but I don't know.
Did I
I'm
voice Rin before? No, I didn't.
I'm trying to stay as
Ren,
true
this
to the
is her
script as
debut.
possible. I'm trying to stay as true to the script as I can.
We thank you. No, you never voiced Rin before because this is her debut. You
Yeah.
may have voiced Umi before.
Yeah, I think you did.
A character before.
Yeah. Then the floodgates opened. The door nearly rattled off of its hinges as Rin was the first to tackle Umi in a suffocating hug. Aww.
Yeah.
The hug part, not the suffocating part.
I'm just gonna make this PSA. If you're at conventions, please don't glomp people you don't know. Really weird. Do not do that.
Yeah, well, Rin and Umi, they're like sisters.
Yeah.
And if we want to talk about unwanted touch, then that's Nozomi's thing.
Oh.
Let's see. The other girls wasted no time in following suit, and within moments she was surrounded. Exclamations and questions were floated at her, so many at once that she couldn't find the words to answer any of them. And yeah,
I don't know who any of these would be.
I'm gonna pretend that's Hanukkah speaking first. You didn't. Oh gosh, I can only do so many female voices.
Kind of like Ratch from Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. You're not telling us you're coming.
You didn't tell us you were coming. It's been so long since we heard from you. I was starting to think that you died.
I think the last one is Nico.
Starting to
Oh.
think you died.
Thank you. Are you guys hearing my dog in the background? Because I might have to mute.
Should I just do if my personality is already like Nico? Should I just do my own voice?
You are
Just-
absolutely free to do so.
Feminize it a little bit, but besides that, yeah.
Nozomi was mindful enough to pick up on Umi's helplessness. Again, I can't remember Nozomi's voice in canon. How about we go inside? It's cold out here, and we can catch up with Umi-chan where it's warmer. General sounds of agreement were made, and Umi was ushered inside. As she took off her shoes in the doorway, she glanced over at Maki, who merely shrugged. Told you, the gesture seemed to say. Told me what? Umi wondered, but she couldn't voice the thought as Nozomi pulled her to the apartment's lone couch. Fortunately, all eyes didn't seem to be on her even after the commotion outside, and many of the girls had returned to their places before she had arrived. Hanayo, Rin, and Nico sat at the table, the latter two apparently in an argument, judging from the intensity of their voices. Sorry if you haven't eaten anything yet, Nozomi chuckled sheepishly. I didn't make anything except tea in case you wanted to warm up. Oh, it's all right. I ate before I Umi paused as a hand found its. Oh, for Pete's sake! Umi paused as a hand found its place on her left shoulder, accompanied by a light squeeze. She jumped slightly at the contact and whipped around. Alright. Tanner, you want to handle Ellie? She's the authoritative one.
You didn't tell us you were coming to surprise us. If you didn't tell us you were coming to surprise us, it worked.
Ellie had somehow snuck up on her, and the blonde girl grinned, her tone playful. It's good to see you too, Ellie. What'd you say?
Because that, when you said authoritative, I went in with that, but now I know it was supposed to be playful, so...
Yeah, my bad. She's normally authoritative.
Alright.
It's good to see you too, Ellie. Umi returned a smile, stepping forward to hug her senior. As she did so, she saw Maki glancing at them, and remembered their exchange on the train. I thought I was due for a visit.
That's an understatement if that's an understatement if I've ever heard one. If you've been so busy that you're ignoring us, I'm sure you have a lot of crazy college stories.
Ellie sat down on the couch and motioned for Umi to do the same. Umi flushed red at her friend's assumption. She didn't think that sitting in her room all day fell under that crazy category. It's really nothing special. Right? Nozomi cut in from the kitchen, having either not heard Umi's qualifying statement or choosing to ignore it. I thought Umi-chan was the last person who'd go crazy in college. Oh, maybe she's found new friends there, and that's why she doesn't have time for us anymore. She shook her head in what Umi assumed to be mock self-pity. But that's life. This is absolutely on brand for Nozomi. This author has done very well.
Alright. I feel like every writer, when it comes to fanfiction, has the one character that they can just, like, instantly just write super well.
Yeah, I think that sometimes, and then you get the stories where everyone's just out of character and it's hilarious.
Actually, yeah, you're right. Cause I think with Scrappy's one, that'll be Junior, probably.
Oh, absolutely. With me, that's take a wild fucking guess.
Oh, Shrek.
Absolutely. Shrek became an assassin recently.
What?
Honestly, I'd be fucking terrified if Shrek were an assassin.
Get out of my swamp!
Yeah, and he's got like big ass hands. He's got big old hulky meat hands. I'd be terrified. He could beat my ass. Well, actually, no. That depends. Am I facing in this hypothetical who would win death battle? All right, Wiz, Boomstick, get on this. In this hypothetical death battle I have created in my head, would I be facing first movie Shrek back when he's more vicious and angry, or post first movie Shrek where he's calmed down? Because I feel like I'd have a fighting chance against post first movie Shrek, but no, I'm absolutely fucked if I'm fighting pre first movie Shrek.
You're facing protective father post fourth movie Shrek, who will absolutely terrify you if you hurt his children.
Alright, so I just have to keep in mind not to do that. Okay.
What were we talking about again?
Love Live.
Yeah, that's it. Where were we? Where are you two getting these ideas from? Nothing of the sort has happened. I think my Umi voice slipped into Nozomi. I am so sorry. Umi looked curiously from Ellie to Nozomi and back again.
Wait, what if that's what Nico was arguing about at the table, was the Shrek thing I just mentioned?
I could see it.
That would be amazing.
Umi looked curiously from Ellie to Nozomi and back again. That's your line.
No friends? Sorry, I was arguing about Shrek.
Nothing, Ellie repeated.
Oh, sorry. No?
No, you're nothing. I mean, you say nothing.
Oh, fuck, I'm sorry, I was thrown off.
It's fine.
Nothing? No
Ellie
party?
repeated.
No party?
No. No.
No flings? No girlfriends?
Umi raised an eyebrow but didn't question it. No.
No friends?
Not really. Umi's ears burned with shame while she tried to focus on the floor. She had hardly been there for 2 minutes and already she was having the same. She had hardly been there for 2 minutes and already she had hardly been here for 2 minutes and already she was having the sort of unpleasant conversation that she had been dreading.
Then what have you been doing since we last heard from you?
Ellie's warm, relaxing demeanor had already begun to give way to something resembling genuine concern, just as Umi had predicted. Instead of answering, Umi turned to Maki, who leaned against the wall next to her. She had been silent since they entered the apartment, her eyes fixed on a table where Nico and her former fellow first year sat. You didn't tell them? Pardon me, you didn't tell them?
Nova?
Oh. About what?
Maki feigned ignorance. About my, Umi glanced at her two seniors again, who were watching her intently. My tendencies.
I didn't know how much you wanted me to say, so I didn't say anything. I think I made the right decision.
Umi couldn't argue with that, even if it to turn it off. Seconds later, she sat down on the Seconds later, she sat down on the couch. Oh my gosh. Seconds later, she sat down on the couch's third cushion as she reached across Ellie to hand Umi her tea. Sorry, I just need to take a break for a moment.
Use the bathroom, to be honest with you.
Alright then, break time. We're about a third of the way done. So, Harry, how's it feel to be a voice actor now?
I mean, it's kind of fun, not gonna lie. I don't know. It's something, I guess.
And, well, we appreciate it, first and foremost. And we hope that maybe you can join us in a few more episodes down the line. Like, obviously you're streaming during this, but it'd be fun having you in the cast every once in a while.
If the episode cool. If we need like 1 million voices, then I guess it won't hurt.
Star Wars is gonna be fun.
I
think
mind,
you alluded.
Huh?
Go on.
I was gonna say I wouldn't mind doing Kylo Ren if Tanner's not around.
Oh gosh.
Besides that, I don't really know.
See, I could say that you could do I'm not gonna say for spoilers, but I say you could do a certain dual role, but one half of the dual role doesn't really speak in the movies, so and I'm thinking of The Rise of Skywalker, not Duel of the Fates. Ugh, my throat's scorched up. And I think you alluded to it earlier, but yeah, Junior is my favorite to write. I'm not sure if I nailed his canon personality, but he's definitely my favorite to write in my story.
I can definitely see that, yeah.
Oh gosh, I need to continue writing that story again. Ugh. Is that like just a bowling ball?
Oh, the game? It's just a giant ball. God, this dungeon is so confusing. Wait, what's been stopping me from going over there?
So, yeah, I mentioned this to Harry, personally, but, yeah, it seems like we have at least one outside volunteer for the Star Wars thing, yeah. The Star Wars story down the line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, that's gonna take like a century to get through.
Every Star Wars YouTuber can read it in like 2 hours tops, but that's not happening for us.
No, fuck no.
Oh yeah. Alright, you back?
Yeah, no, but you weren't present for this. Tanner and I took like an hour just to read a Rugrats one-shot.
Oh yeah, because of issues.
Are you guys feeling okay after that?
Lost control of my life.
I was waiting for that.
Tanner has not been okay since he had to hear me wasting like 15 minutes just to get one Christmas song done properly.
Oh yeah!
Started over and over.
Yep.
That
was amazing.
was an experience.
I have just this broken record of Mariah Carey, which is also called "Working in a Retail Store in December."
No, you mean working in a retail store in late November.
Oh fuck! It's true.
Harry, I'm just seeing that one Kirby knockoff just walking into a wall, and it's kind of terrifying me. Okay, we're all back.
I believe so.
Let's see, Seconds later, she sat down on the couch's stirred cushion as she reached across Ellie to hand Umi her tea. The blue-haired girl accepted it with a quick thank you, then blew on it gently to help it cool down. She took in the sight of her own green-tinted reflection for a moment. If any of this sounds too far-fetched, Maki can confirm that this is true. College hasn't been easy for me. My grades are decent enough, but as you just suggested, she nodded at Ellie. There should be much more to college There should be much more to college than that. I live alone, and I haven't made any close friends there. Just people who I talk to every so often.
Talk to us more.
We're always willing to lend you an ear. We're always willing to lend you an ear or give you some support, Nozomi added.
Some of us even have a bit more treat. But some of us even have a bit more free time to chat. Time to chat, free time to chat, be a bit more time, free time to chat.
Ellie smiled knowingly. Umi wasn't sure if she was referring to herself or one of the other girls, but she didn't ask. Thank you. It's reassuring to hear that. But you knew, didn't you? Nozomi asked her. You knew... Oh, gosh. You knew that we're always... For Pete's sake, you knew that we're always just a text or a phone call away if you need support. Once again, Umi thought. Nozomi has demonstrated her unsettling perceptiveness. It made her shiver at how little she has been... for Pete's sake. It made her shiver at how little she has been able to hide from her purple-haired senior. Yes, I knew. Then why... Then why haven't you been... Oh gosh, my voice. Then why haven't you been talking to us? Nozomi pressed gently. Because I don't think I deserve your support, Umi said, bowing her head.
Me?
Ellie began sympathetically. Why ever not? Why ever not? Nozomi finished for her. Umi crossed her arms and shifted her focus to her feet, which swung restlessly over the side of the couch. Her mouth opened, closed, and opened again without any sound coming from it in the meanwhile. While she mulled from it... Oh gosh. Her mouth opened, closed, and opened again without any sound coming from it in the meanwhile. While she mulled over how best to present her current situation. She was drawing a blank, though. So after what felt like minutes of avoiding her senior's concerned stares, she looked up and shook her head. Just... Can you take my word for it? It's true. She punctuated her vague statement... Oh gosh. She punctuated her vague statement with a dry laugh, hoping to lighten up the atmosphere and get away from this uncomfortable topic. It seemed that she was unsuccessful at first. Ellie kept her gaze on her, and she didn't have to look over to know that... Oh gosh. And she didn't have to look over to know that Nozomi was doing the same. Then, after the two exchanged a quick glance, she was finally granted a break.
Alright. We just wanted to hear from you more.
I'll make more of an effort from now on. Oh, Tanner, this is your moment.
Oh, shit! Yeah, what's up with that? I'm already...
Another much... Go on.
I already tell that I'm just into this.
Yeah, that's the beauty of fan fiction. That's what this show's all about.
Just camaraderie.
Bringing quality stories and mangling it.
Alright, let's go.
Another, much smaller hand came down hard on Umi's shoulder. She jumped at the contact, but she didn't have to turn around to know that the new addition to their conversation was her third senior. She did so anyway and saw that Nico had one eyebrow quirked at her. Her mouth twisted in something akin to a smirk and ready to give her hell. Hello to you.
I can see it. I was like curious for what you meant, and then I'm like, I see what's going on here.
Yep. Hello to you too, Nico. Umi managed. The girl in question responded with a dramatic eye roll before plopping down in the small space that Umi had left on the couch, forcing the other three to make space for her.
Seriously? Don't talk so formally. We're not strangers, you know?
As she sat down, she removed her hand from Umi's shoulder and slung it across her back, so that there was no escaping for the younger girl. Umi shot her a look. That's just how I speak.
So?
Nico leaned in.
What's your excuse?
Umi was about to respond. What now?
I'm having fun.
That's what we hope to do here. Umi was about to respond with a defensive and possibly scathing remark when she became aware of a small commotion behind her. She turned just in time to catch Ellie She turned just in time to catch Ellie gesturing frantically at Nico, her hand waving rapidly back and forth across her throat in a very clear warning. They made eye contact while Ellie's hand was mid-swipe, upon which the older girl immediately dropped the guilty party into her lap. Clearing her throat loudly, she fixed the petite girl with a stern glare.
Nico, please try to be a little more sensitive. You don't know what Umi's been going through. I know! That's why I'm trying to...
At this, Maki, who had been listening to their entire conversation from her spot next to the couch, brought her hand squarely down onto Nico's head. Wow. The smaller girl yelped in pain, effectively cutting her off.
Ouch! What the hell, Maki-chan?
Maki's hand... Maki's hand remained hovering.
I think that's the best thing. that's the best performance so far.
I'm scared of how good I am at just playing this naturally.
Oh gosh. Maki's hand remained hovering over Nico's head, while the other one came to rest on her hip. She didn't say anything, only gesturing to the 3 other girls who sat on the couch. Nico seemed to get the message and put her own hands up in a gesture of reluctant compliance.
Okay. I'm sorry if I was too insensitive, Umi.
It's okay.
That was like a weak little ending on the line read there, but see, now I wouldn't have gotten if I just didn't point it out.
You can try again if you want to.
Okay. Sorry if I was a little too insensitive, Umi.
It's okay. It's okay. Umi responded slowly. She was struggling to keep up with the pace of her friends. It really had been too long since she had last seen them, she thought.
Was that me?
I think so?
It's too bad Honoka had work today.
With the threat of Maki's hand seemingly avoided for now, Nico relaxed into the soft cushions of the couch.
Be the closest we've ever been to having everyone together.
Sounds like you cut off a bit at the start. Could you reread again?
I'm just gonna reread that whole thing, if that's okay.
Okay.
Too bad Honoka had work today. It's too bad that I can't fucking pronounce Japanese.
I can't pronounce her name either. I've been saying Hanukkah half the time.
It's too bad Hanukkah couldn't make it today. It's, I guess all 12 days were just canceled. All 12, it's not 8. It's 8. What the fuck? I was thinking of 12 days of Christmas. Alright. Can someone aminate? What the fuck?
Yeah, let's aminate Tana.
Please, aminate. Fuck what I was originally gonna say. Can someone
Please animate us saying that.
Yeah, I was gonna say animate like this as a blooper reel of just Nico screwing up her lines.
That'd be great. Oh gosh, it's too bad Honoka had work today. With the threat of Maki's hand seemingly avoided for now, Nico relaxed into the soft cushions of the couch.
The closest we've been to having everyone together.
Once again, Umi recalled a relevant snippet of her conversation with Maki on the train. Everyone noticed it. It, of course, referred to the perceived... Pardon?
I didn't say anything.
I'm going crazy. I'm hearing things.
Yeah, you are.
It, of course, referred to the perceived distance between Umi and her childhood friends. Maki said everyone, so that means Nico noticed it too. She's being insensitive again. Umi looked to confirm this and saw that Ellie had buried her face in her hands and was currently in the middle of letting out a long sigh. She also thought she saw Nozomi's hands twitch. Despite herself, she had to smile at her friend's antics. Really, does that mean Katori will be here?
I don't know.
Nico answered with a shrug.
We haven't heard from her since yesterday, so maybe she's trying to surprise everyone like you did.
Umi pushed down the growing unease in her stomach and tried to laugh. That would be quite the coincidence. Unfortunately, Umi had been too distracted by her seniors to notice the three knocks at the door moments before. Nor did she notice Hanao getting up and answering for whoever was there. And it wasn't until she heard the familiar voice in the hallway that she considered getting up, hiding and revealing herself at a more opportune time. Oh gosh. La 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 who. Alright, it's time to do high-pitched glasses, girl. Unless Harry wants to do this as well.
For some reason, I feel like me just doing Nico in my natural voice worked really well.
do you want to do it, Nova? Because I feel like you haven't had many voices.
And you can naturally do a very high-pitched voice.
Oh, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome,
That is
H.
the most uncomfortable Nova, okay, I just want to say something. No, that's a reverse psychology thing. How do I make this? Please do that again. And by that I mean never fucking do that again.
Okay.
No! What do I throw this fucking I got my cup of water. I'm gonna throw this shit out the window. It's not gonna accomplish anything, but it will be an expression of my rage.
You do what makes you feel right, Tanner.
Alright, no, you know I can't do that on here without getting demonetized.
Oh gosh. Anyway, Nova, you have the floor.
That's for my
Alright, where's mine?
Let's see, revealing herself at a more opportune time. You must be tired, Kotori-chan.
A little bit, but it's okay.
No, wait.
Wait.
I guess I'm Hanao then. You can be Kotori.
Yeah.
La 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 la. Ahem. You must be tired. Oh gosh. Emergency! That's what she says a lot. You must be tired. Oh gosh, this isn't gonna sound right. You must be tired, Kotori-chan. Hanao was saying.
A little bit, but it's okay.
Kotori responded cheerfully. From what Umi could tell, she was still in the doorway, most likely in the process of taking off her shoes.
I think I'm pretty used to the train by now.
We're all glad you could make it. Good news, everyone. Ugh. Hanao was leading Kotori past the kitchen, and Umi saw her first as she turned to the rest of the girls with a bright smile. We have 2 surprise visitors today! The general cheer in the room was revitalized at this announcement, and most of the girls got up from their seats to greet Kotori. Umi, however, remained rooted in her spot, her leg bouncing in nervous apprehension.
Two?
Kotori repeated curiously. She answered her own question as she crossed the threshold to the living room. After receiving a few friendly hugs from the other girls, she inevitably locked eyes with Umi, who hadn't moved from the couch. Umi was still mentally unprepared, but Kotori Kotori reacted almost immediately. She giggled. Oh, for Pete's sake. She giggled, breaking out into a warm smile.
Umi-chan, did you steal my idea?
She found that she could only stare wide-eyed. Her mouth hung open, but no response came. Hanayo beckoned for Umi to get up.
We're almost all together now. Isn't this great? Isn't this great?
Umi wasn't sure if she agreed, but if anything, the inviting smile that Kotori beamed at her told her. Umi wasn't sure if she agreed, but if anything, the inviting smile that Kotori beamed at her told her that maybe she was worried for nothing. Yeah, she managed as she finally willed herself off of the couch. As she did so, Kotori stretched her arms out to her in a welcoming gesture. Umi had to smile. It's been a while, Kotori. She reciprocated by reaching out her own arm and embracing her childhood friend.
It's very nice to see you, Umi-chan.
Kotori pulled back from the hug first, placing her hands on Umi's shoulders. Umi returned her smile, thinking that Kotori was going to say something to her, but she didn't comply. They stood there, staring at each other for a good 5 seconds before the realization hit Umi. This is kind of awkward. She knew that Kotori was aware of it too from the way that her smile faded, only slightly, but enough for Umi to notice. She tilted her head so that she was giving Umi a sidelong glance, and pointed towards the door.
Why don't we go outside?
Yes, I think that would be good. Umi, Umi rubbed the back of her neck when she realized that there were more than Umi rubbed the back of her neck when she realized that there were more than a few pairs of eyes on them.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Kotori addressed this to the other girls, and Umi turned to follow her, but not before she saw Nozomi flash her a thumbs up. She sighed. Yep, that's Nozomi. This is accurate. Outside, Kotori leaned against the railing as Umi shut the door before turning to face her. The tan-haired girl still didn't say anything, and as their breath visibly rolled away from their faces in light puffs, Umi became all too aware that she would have to talk first. Not knowing what Kotori wanted to talk about made it all the more nerve-wracking, but she reminded herself that even if she got an earful of everything she had done wrong over the past year and a half, she probably deserved it. We probably have a lot to catch up on, Umi began, sheepishly, as she joined Kotori at the railing.
It seems so.
How have you been? Is Tokyo treating you well? Kotori smiled, but when she raised her head to look at her, Umi could see the wariness in her eyes.
In some ways, yes. The fashion industry is just so competitive. So the classes really push everyone to the creative limit. I've seen my fair share of breakdowns already.
What about you? Umi asked, her eyes widening in concern. Are you okay? Please don't tell me you're talking about yourself, too.
No.
Kotori giggled and shook her head.
I've been doing okay so far. It's just difficult to balance school, my own projects, and trying to find a job or an internship.
Have you found anything yet? It shouldn't be hard for you considering your previous experience. Kotori smiled bashfully.
I'd like to say that my reputation precedes me, but that's just being close-minded. This is Tokyo we're talking about after all. Companies have such a large talent pool to pick from here, so it's not too easy to get noticed.
Tanner, are you alright? Oh dear. It's like I could hear a faint sound, and I didn't know if he was like just muttering off camera or off mic, or was trying to say something as the camera was just cutting out. Tanner, welcome back. You okay?
There we go. I'm alive again. Where were we?
Let's see.
I'm sorry about that audio.
No, it's fine. Wow, we were just worried that you were trying to tell us something and we couldn't quite hear you.
I'm gonna die in 3
companies-
days.
Yeah. Companies have such a large talent pool to pick from here, so it's not too easy to get noticed.
Companies have such a large talent pool to pick from here, so it's not too easy to get noticed.
Thank you, Nova. Umi tried to reassure Kotori by placing a hand on her shoulder. I don't know much about working in fashion, but I'll be there for you if you need the support. She hesitated at this, wondering briefly if Kotori would want to hear her next words, but she steeled herself. Even if you need someone to try on one of your outfits, I'll do it.
Really?
Kotori giggled.
6 hours away from me, though.
She reached for Umi's hand, gently removing it from her shoulder, although she held onto it while she spoke.
Besides, you have to prove that you're more reliable before you make promises like that.
Umi didn't know whether it was the sheer bluntness of Kotori's statement or... Umi didn't know whether it was the sheer bluntness of Kotori's statement or the fact that said statement was delivered with a genuine... Oh, gosh. Long sentences. Umi didn't know whether it was... Pete's sake. Umi did not know whether it was the sheer bluntness of Kotori's statement or the fact that said statement was delivered with a genuine smile, but she felt a stab of pain at her friend's words. Kotori, she muttered, ducking her head in embarrassment. It would be easier on me if you put it less frankly. She squeezed Kotori's hand in her own, knowing that the redness on her face was easily visible, no matter how she tried to hide it.
Sorry.
Kotori laughed again, and Umi confirmed in the back of her mind that her friend got a great deal of enjoyment out of seeing her flustered.
I just had to say it. You can't disappear for as long as you did and expect me not to say something about it.
I know. It just doesn't make me feel much better. Umi looked up to see Kotori still smiling at her, but her head was slightly cocked to the side, indicating her curiosity.
Umi-chan, are you doing okay?
In regards to school, she stepped closer to Kotori as a harsh chill made her teeth chatter. Teeth chatter.
That too.
She didn't want to lie, so she settled for a shrug. I've seen better days, I think.
Real work can be pretty harsh.
Kotori said sympathetically. It's been looking up recently though.
That's good.
She perked up at Umi's words.
May I ask why?
Umi reached into her coat pocket and produced her sheet of lyrics. I enlisted Maki's help in writing this. I'd call it our project for Christmas break. She unfolded the paper and handed it to Kotori. The tan-haired girl read over it silently, while Umi twiddled her thumbs.
Wow, this is really poetic, Umi-chan.
Kotori looked impressed. Umi blushed. You don't have to put it like that.
No, I really love it. Has Maki-chan started writing the music for it?
Kotori squinted as she brought the paper closer to her face, presumably to read the many scribbles written in the... Oh gosh. Kotori squinted as she brought the paper closer to her face, presumably to read the many scribbles written in the margins. Not really. She wanted me to give her the framework before she started.
You're writing the music too?
Kotori asked, surprised. Umi hurried to reassure her. I only have a small part in it. It really isn't anything special.
I'm sure it will turn out wonderfully. I can tell you still have a talent for this.
Kotori gave her another teasing smile and indicated the lyrics by offering them back to her.
Do you mind if I ask who it's about?
Why would you assume it's about someone? Kotori shrugged innocently.
The lyrics are addressing on you throughout.
A lot of my songs did that.
That's true, but I think this one's different.
Kotori said knowingly. Why? Between this and Maki's previous observations, Umi was beginning to wonder just how transparent her own motives were.
Nowadays, you don't have to write songs for the sake of writing them.
I wasn't doing that back then. Excuse me. I wasn't doing that back then either. Umi muttered a little defensively. I tried to be as genuine as possible when I wrote lyrics.
Your lyrics are genuine. I'm not denying that.
Kotori giggled.
But unless you're a much better secret keeper than I knew, you never experienced romantic love, heartbreak, or even pining while you were writing for Muse. Am I right?
She counted the feelings off on her fingers as she spoke. Yes, you're right.
Yet you wrote many songs that do those matters.
Kotori continued.
That's what I mean. You wrote those lyrics for Muse because that's what the idols sing about.
A sly grin began to take shape on her face.
I think you did quite a good job for someone who's never even been in love.
What is the point of you flattering... Excuse me. What is the point of you flattering me like this again? Excuse me. What is the point of you flattering me like this again? Ugh, gosh. What is the point of you flattering me like this again? Umi asked, her face slightly red.
I mean all those things to me, Chan.
Kotori's response was sincere, and her smile began to soften. Gosh darn it. Kotori's response was sincere, and her smile began to soften into something resembling this.
Compared to your lyrics back then, your motivations for writing this?
She held up the paper.
Must be quite different. I want to say you're really grown from the last time I saw you.
She then turned her focus to the paper, her amber eyes searching for a specific line.
The infinite buzzing of vanity's lips, forming words for the eager of ear.
She read off the paper in somewhat impressive English.
Oh, it is.
I know.
I was,
Anyway.
No, it's just funny because we're all. This is basically a dubbed fan fiction.
This is. Welcome to Real Time Fandub Fanfic Edition. I didn't know that was possible.
Anyway.
I can't begin to imagine what inspired you to write a line like that.
Excuse me. Why must you read it aloud like that? It's embarrassing. Another giggle.
It's going to be sung aloud eventually, right?
Umi sighed. Well, yes, but once it's a proper song, not all the for Pete's sake. Well, yes, but once it's a proper song, not all the focus will be. Oh my gosh! Hold on. Umi sighed. Well, yes, but once it's a proper song, not all the focus will be on the lyrics.
I wish that wasn't so. There.
Kotori hummed to herself, searching for the right word.
Very heartfelt.
She finally settled on. I certainly tried in that department, Umi admitted with a chuckle. They sort of came to me all at once one night.
I'll never understand the creative process.
Kotori's laugh mirrored Umi's own. She leaned in slightly, lowering her voice by just a notch.
If you don't mind me asking, they seem very personal. And I would guess that it's a scripted of your own experiences you left home?
Umi rubbed her hands together, partly as a reaction to the cold and partly as a display of her growing embarrassment. Maki said something similar about them. To answer your earlier question, I don't know if it's really about someone in particular.
But you wrote the song yourself.
Yes, but the inspiration for it was sort of vague in its own right. Kotori responded with a thoroughly confused stare. So Umi gave her a condensed version of her recurring dreams and how they served as a backdrop to the creation of the sheet of paper that Kotori now held in her hands. Kotori was silent for a long stretch of time after Umi finished her account.
Are you sure you're okay, Umi-chan?
Umi was ready to respond. Umi was ready to respond in a half-positive manner again, but she couldn't bring herself to brush off the matter a second time. She took a deep breath, deciding that Kotori was genuinely concerned, so she deserved a genuine answer. Honestly, I don't know. The past month has been slightly better. Since writing this song gives me a purpose to do something. Before that, she hesitated a moment, wondering if she should just leave her sad state to Kotori's imagination. She decided against it. Before that, I was just going through the motions. Once again, Umi felt a hand on her shoulder.
And you've been going through all this without telling any of us?
It sounds ridiculous, I know.
We're always here for you. All of us.
Umi looked away. She found she couldn't hold the other girl's intensely genuine stare. Is that true?
Of course it is.
Kotori looked somewhat taken aback.
Why would you think otherwise?
Umi bit her lip and ran her hands across the cold metal railing that separated them from a 20-foot drop to the street below. She was silently thankful that Kotori was so patient. Her friend didn't say a word while she took her time in answering. Finally, she decided to be honest with Kotori. Finally, she decided to be honest with Kotori. She deserved it, with how distant they had been these past 2 years. You should know why, Kotori. She shut her eyes, hoping that she wouldn't have to elaborate, though it was a foolish hope.
Because of you and Honoka-chan?
Yes. In the silence that followed, Umi tuned into the chatter that emanated from inside the apartment. She wondered whether they were talking about her, and made a note to establish to everyone that she and Kotori were on good terms once again. Honoka, on the other hand, was a different matter entirely, one that remained to be seen. When Kotori's response finally came, it was quiet and serious.
You really are too hard on yourself.
I think my punishment was well deserved.
I can see why you shut yourself off, but the amount of time that you did was a little extreme.
Umi rubbed the back of her head, averting Kotori's gaze once again. Time just flies by after high school, I guess. The weight of Kotori's observant stare left her, and she turned to see a sad smile take its place.
That's true. but being alone for that long can't be healthy for you.
Don't remind me. Umi muttered. Umi muttered, perhaps a little too sarcastically. Perhaps you're right. It was a little extreme of me.
So, stop talking to us because you're gonna forgive yourself over you did the Honoka-chan?
More or less, yes.
What does that have to do with the rest of us?
It has everything to do with the rest of you. Umi responded, her voice quiet. I couldn't carry on as if nothing had happened, because it would just hurt her even more. Not only that, but I knew that you girls would take her side if word got out about us. It would be the right thing to do, since I was certainly in the wrong.
I don't think completely closing yourself off was much better for her, or for you.
It was either that or confront my mistakes, and I'm far too much of a coward to do that. Kotori had since removed her hand from Umi's shoulder, but now that same hand found Umi's own.
It seems like you're already on your way.
You think so? Umi flushed and looked away.
You're here now, with us. That's a good start.
In the back of her mind, past the embarrassment and shame that clouded the forefront, Umi wondered what she had done to deserve friends who were so willing to forgive her many shortcomings. Thank you, Kotori.
I'm glad you're coming around.
Kotori said. Another period of silence followed. Umi looked away and inhaled deeply, due to the weight of what she would due to the weight of what she would ask next. So, Umi managed. How is Honoka? Kotori didn't respond right away.
Let's see, hold on.
As far as I can tell, she's doing fine.
Do you two talk often?
I try to, when I have the time. Other than that, she's rarely active in the group chat.
Fairly active.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I heard rarely, sorry.
I try to, when I have time. Other than that, she's fairly active in the group chat.
I guess I wouldn't know that, Umi muttered. Kotori didn't have an immediate response, and Umi didn't need to tear her gaze away from the cityscape to know that Kotori was staring at her again.
I'm going to be blunt with you, Umi-chan.
She nodded and braced herself.
I'm being vague with you because I think it would be better if we found these things out on your own.
That wasn't what Umi had been expecting. I'm sorry? Kotori broke out into a smile once again.
You should go visit Honoka-chan and ask her these things yourself.
What? Umi stiffened immediately. I couldn't. Why do you think that's a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea. I know it's a good idea.
Kotori's smile didn't waver in the face of Umi's obvious disapproval. Well then, how do you know?
She still wants to see you again. She told me.
Umi took a deep breath, her heart still racing from her outburst moments before. Similarly, her mind whirred as numerous Honoka-centric scenarios played out in her head, seemingly all at once. Not once had she considered that her relationship to Honoka was, at the moment, anything remotely close to positive. Are you sure? She asked warily. At this, Kotori crossed her arms and frowned.
Did I lie to you, Umi-chan?
She huffed to emphasize how ridiculous the idea sounded. I can't remember the last. Excuse me. I can't remember the last time you did.
Exactly.
Kotori drew each syllable of the word out. As she spoke, she reached out her hand and pressed a. Excuse me. As she spoke, she reached out her hand and pressed a gentle yet firm finger into Umi's forehead.
I need you to get this into your head, Umi-chan. I know how stubborn you can be.
Umi crossed her eyes to stare at the finger that was intruding into her personal space, but otherwise did nothing. Okay, she sighed. I'll visit her.
I have your word?
Umi glanced from Kotori's finger to her expectant face. Yes, you have my word, she answered after some hesitation.
Wonderful!
Kotori removed her finger from Umi's forehead, and Umi found herself breathing a quiet sigh of relief.
What does tomorrow sound?
Umi's eyes widened. That's far too soon!
What happened to your word?
Kotori pouted.
The sooner you visit her, the better. Otherwise, you might just try to make excuses and put it off.
That's... Umi cringed and looked away. As much as she hated to admit it, Kotori was right. I suppose I can visit her tomorrow.
Let me know how it goes.
Kotori's smile returned. Umi shot her friend a look. I take it you're not going with me.
Of course not. You know that you two have some things to take care of first.
It was the fleeting hope, Umi sighed.
Don't be so dramatic.
Kotori giggled.
Bye.
You'll be fine. Did Honoka tell you that as well?
No, I don't like to think that I still know both of you well enough to say that.
Umi could only shrug in response. I hope you're right.
In fact, I'm already planning for the three of us to spend Christmas Eve together.
That's... A number of negative outcomes forced themselves to the front of Umi's mind, and she had to ignore them. That's rather optimistic of you. Kotori merely shrugged, but her cheery smile remained. Another silence settled upon the two, but Umi didn't feel any sense of discomfort or unease during this stretch. Kotori's hand lingered on hers for a few more moments before separating. With nothing else to say, Umi turned her attention to the passerby that dotted the sidewalks below them. Though it was Monday afternoon, Christmas Eve was only 2 days away, and thus the normally peaceful streets were already beginning to pack with last-minute shoppers and early vacationers. The sight was comforting. Oh gosh, the sight was comforting. Yet for some reason, Umi began to have a nagging feeling in the back of her mind. Do you girls have any plans for Christmas? I think that's me. Do you girls have any plans for Christmas? She asked Kotori.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I was Kotori.
Yeah, you're Kotori, I'm saying, but the first "do you girls," that's Umi's line.
Alright. Alright.
Let me try that again.
Alright.
Do you girls have any plans for Christmas? She asked Kotori.
We were talking about seeing the Christmas lights once we're all together again, but that's about it.
You didn't plan any gift exchanges?
Not this year. Because no one was feeling particularly selfish this time around.
Kotori giggled at her own joke.
Really? I couldn't tell you why.
Was it because everyone assumed I wouldn't be here? Umi raised an eyebrow.
That might be it.
Kotori said. Her voice hitched with Her voice hitched with surprise, as if this was the first time this thought had crossed her mind. Umi sighed. I suppose it's fine. I wouldn't want everyone to change their plans just because I'm here.
Presence is a gift in and of itself, Omi-chan.
Clearly, chastising Kotori for teasing her wasn't getting through at all. Umi resigned herself to an annoyed stare and remained silent otherwise. Kotori frowned, but didn't shrink back.
You cut off.
Pardon me. Clearly, chastising Kotori for teasing her wasn't getting through at all. Umi resigned herself to an annoyed stare and remained silent otherwise. Kotori frowned, but didn't shrink back.
It's true. At the very least, you surprised us all. We're starting to worry that you were gone for good.
I was thinking the same thing. Umi chuckled dryly. It seems like inspiration struck at just the right time.
It's one way to look at it.
Kotori's reply was cryptic, and she didn't give Umi a chance to probe into it.
By the way, do the others know what you're up to?
She indicated Umi's sheet of lyrics by holding the paper out to her. Umi took it, folded it, and pocketed the sheet in one motion. I was planning on telling them today. Maki and I already discussed some potential repercussions, and we want to let the others know about it as soon as possible to avoid any unwelcome surprises.
You should show Honoka-chan too.
I'll tell her about it, but I don't want to show anyone any. I'll tell her about it, but I don't want to show anyone. I don't want to show anyone any actual previews. Oh gosh. I'll tell her about it, but I don't want to show anyone any actual previews until the song is finished. Umi bit her lip, then added, partly because I don't know how the finished product is going to sound yet.
I'm sure she'll like it.
Umi frowned. I didn't write it for her, but I would be very glad if she approved. I feel like I made that sassier than it was supposed to be. I didn't write it for her, but I would be very glad if she approved. Kotori looked at her questioningly, as if she was on the verge of challenging that statement, but her expression changed right before she said,
If you say so, Omi-chan.
Umi shuffled her feet. Kotori was teasing her again, but she wasn't willing to ask herself why. She didn't write the song for Honoka. In fact, she had made many active attempts in the past 2 years to keep Honoka out of her mind, to varying degrees of success. Yet now, when Kotori was clearly insinuating that she had written the lyrics with a certain mutual friend in mind, she couldn't deny it outright. Or perhaps she was simply overthinking her friend's intentions again, and Kotori was giving her the benefit of the doubt. She decided to return the favor by acknowledging Kotori's statement with a nod and nothing more.
Well then, it's settled. We'll visit Honoka-chan tomorrow. Oh, shall we go back inside? Others are probably starting to wonder about us.
Kotori turned from the railing and rubbed her hands together, making her way towards the door. Umi followed her, muttering reassurances under her breath. They entered to the sight of the other 6 girls crowded around a lone table in the apartment. They seemed to be conferring on something rather private, but upon seeing the 2 girls in the doorway, Maki perked up.
Oh good, you're back.
She said.
I was just telling them about the song.
Oh gosh, why does this author hate my vocal cords?
I think it's wonderful that you're still writing songs.
Hanayo was the first to offer her opinion on the matter. Nico shot Umi a disapproving look, but the smile on her face was more telling.
shit. Sorry. I
Let me get into. So you're not writing it as a Kickstarter? Kickstarter? Canadian now. So you're not writing it as a Kickstarter to your solo project?
Wait, where did you jump ahead?
No, what? Fuck. I'm so sorry that I was like genuinely into it and now. Hold on. Where were Nico shot? Oh, Yumi. Big smile on her face was more telling. It's a good thing Maki-chan told us about it now. I would have been pretty shocked if I was surfing the net and saw idol forums talking about a U's comeback with leaked previews of our new song. Although, Japanese word solo project sounds even more shocking.
Jeez, my performance went from like so good to so bad there.
You're enjoying this too much.
Yes, I am.
Oh gosh, Nozomi. I'm I'm really excited to hear it. Live instruments. How cool is? Oh gosh, I'm done. I'm really excited to hear it. Live instruments? How cool is that? Nozomi sighed wistfully. It's so new, but somehow so nostalgic too. Umi took in the positive reception, but was unable to formulate an immediate response. She looked pleadingly to Maki for an explanation. Her junior smiled apologetically.
Sorry, Yumi. I was going over the notes I've been working on my phone when Rin peeked over my shoulder. You can see what happened next.
Harry.
Oh wait,
You sound like you just woke up.
I didn't realize Ren had another line. Where are we?
You can see what happened next was the last line spoken.
I don't really know what jazz sounds like, but I bet it's gonna be super cool.
As if on,
God, that was bad.
as if on cue, Rin's voice sounded awfully close to her ear. Umi jumped slightly and whipped around to see Rin awfully close to her face. I hope so too, Umi chuckled nervously, then cleared her throat, not unlike the author reading this. Not unlike the person reading this. Yeah, I wrote the story, by the way.
Oh, that would be a massive plot twist.
Put more Nico scenes in. I need more to do.
Good.
If it were up to me, this would just be a Nico story with Yoshiko from the second series.
I would, I would like to see you actually write that. I'd like to see how that would go.
I'm considering it. Everyone, I don't know how much Maki has told you yet, but I'm trying to keep this under the radar. As Nico said, I don't want word to get out that this is a Muse project because it's not.
That's not. Oh, I always forgot. Maki did stress how personal it is compared to your other work.
Ellie mused.
So you're not writing it as a solo to kick as my brain. So you're not writing it as a Kickstarter to your solo project.
Nico asked.
Trying to grasp what English was again.
Firmly grasp it, Tanner. Firmly grasp it.
Firmly grasp it, Umi. Firmly grasp it.
Umi waved away the possibility. No, I don't really plan on promoting it outside of the advertisements that we may have to do for musicians. Oh gosh, that's too fast. Outside of the advertisements that we may have to do for musicians who would record the backing track. its popularity isn't a factor to me. Ellie scratched her head, frowning.
Well, if you're not gonna write it, promote it, or sell it, then why are you writing it?
For fun, that's what art is supposed to be about.
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of being really rude to her here.
Umi looked to Kotori, who had been silent ever since they had returned to the apartment. Her friend returned the gaze and simply smiled her cryptic smile. Self-fulfillment, I guess?
Because it's fun. I'm not Maki.
And because it's fun.
Maki added. That got a chuckle out of Umi. Yes, that too. Nozomi hummed while a whirring... Excuse me. Nozomi hummed while... Oh gosh. Nozomi hummed while a worrying smile began to form at the corners of her mouth. I do miss how fun it was to record and perform. Maybe Nikochi was right. A Muse comeback could be in the works. Nozomi, you shut your dadgum mouth right now. She's always doing this stuff. The statement drew shocked stares from Umi and a few others. Nozomi looked around sheepishly as she realized that her joke didn't have its intended effect. I'm joking, I'm joking. I do hope to see what the final result is, Umi-chan. Let me try that again. I'm joking, I'm joking. I do hope to see what the final result is, Umi-chan.
I don't know how exactly, but we're always willing to help if you need it.
Ellie's statement was met with nods of agreement from the rest of the group. Umi smiled warmly. Thank you, everyone. I'll be sure to show you our finished product.
Now don't go disappearing on us before then.
Nico deadpanned, and Umi had to laugh. Ha 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 ha. That's Umi's laugh.
Ha 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 ha.
This is how I laugh.
This is how we do it now.
Umi stood in the doorway once again. This time, she waited for Kotori, and Maki as the latter two put on their shoes. Without realizing it, they had stayed the longest as the other girls trickled out, individually or in pairs. Umi was the subject of many a loaded question from the girls on their way out, ranging from, I'll see you again soon, right? To, are you free on Christmas Eve? She had assured each of them in turn that no, she wasn't going into another self-imposed exile after today. The foyer was silent until Maki slipped on her right shoe and spoke up.
I'll ask, since no one else did, and I have a feeling you talked about this with Kotori.
Umi exchanged a glance with Kotori, raising an eyebrow. Is it about Honoka? Maki nodded.
Are you going to show her the song too?
I probably will when I visit. I probably will when I visit her tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
The surprise in Maki's voice was evident.
Are you excited?
Umi grimaced. Nervous might be a better word.
You might have your own reasons, but I think she'll be happy to hear about it.
Okay. Umi looked from Maki to Kotori and back again. This wasn't the first time the two had said something similar on separate occasions. She was beginning to feel a little uneasy about it. Anyway, I'll try to dedicate time to songwriting tomorrow, before the Christmas rush happens. Of course, Maki didn't seem fazed by her and Kotori's synchronicity, because she probably wasn't aware of it.
Don't sweat it. You still have 2 weeks.
Wait a minute.
Wait, oh.
I'm not sure who's saying what.
Kotori?
Yeah, that might have been Kotori.
Okay.
Don't sweat it. You
We still have 2 weeks.
I'm glad everyone was so receptive to the idea.
Maki sighed as she opened the door.
Well, where wouldn't we be?
Kotori put in.
It's very nice to see how far your love for music goes. The same goes for Umi-chan.
Umi trailed behind the other 2 girls as they talked, already in the beginnings of spacing out. Thoughts of tomorrow took the majority of her attention. As she felt the sheet of lyrics in her pocket, she again muttered reassurances to herself and tried to believe that they were working. She was going to see Honoka again tomorrow. She couldn't wait, but at the same time, she couldn't help but imagine all the ways that it could go wrong. End chapter. Ah,
We can rest, gentlemen.
the curse is lifted.
Actually, like, probably, and not even saying much considering we still had some shit, but this was probably our most, like, smooth recording session throughout.
And we only dropped out a few times.
It got fun once we actually started, but yeah.
I think this might have been the most fun episode for me so far that I've ever done in story time.
Really? Huh.
I don't know. It's weird. I didn't even have that many characters.
Tanner has embraced Nico Yasuyoi with all of his heart.
I feel like this might have been. I think part of it is this probably was. I hate to pat myself on the back, but I feel like this was probably my best performance out of any of my appearances here.
You did seem to have a lot of fun.
I hope I did that character justice.
You did. And congratulations to Nova for carrying most of the female voices as per usual.
Oh yeah, fantastic. And also for traumatizing me.
Oh, Tanner, I'm sorry.
Alright, so...
Nova's just gonna show up at your house with a pillow over your bed one day, and he's just gonna use that voice.
Nova's not going to be in any more future episodes of Storytime with Scrappy. Or... Really, he won't be in anything. In fact, just make sure to start sending your condolences to his family.
God.
Tanner, you sound traumatized.
No, if it were anyone other than Nova, because I know Nova's gonna use that and abuse that power to fuck with me, because that's what he does.
It's not my fault, I know you so well.
Not my
Actually, yeah, it is your fault.
It absolutely is your fault. Why would you ever talk to me? I didn't know a human being was capable of that much pity.
Oh wow.
Don't sell yourself short, Tanner.
Hey. I may sometimes jokingly say it's pity, but it's really not. Again, I'm just busting your balls. Because it's so easy to do.
That's also just what friends do.
My single thing Nova ever told me was that, because I was joking, like, why am I always the most singled out butt of the joke in our friend group? I think it was another server. And then Nova just comes out and says, Tanner, it's not that we single you out, you're just the easiest to make fun of. And I just fucking died.
There's just one designated, I won't say punching bag because that's just mean.
I'm
one designated recipient. What's the word?
I'm your
One designated recipient of jokes.
Yeah.
I'm your fucking butt monkey. I'm fucking Rich Evans.
Like, I don't know why. I torment Maddie, or at least I used to. I try to cut down on that. Yeah, that might be the reason she never shows up for this stuff.
It was your fault all along. How could you?
No, I think
Yeah,
no. I mean, it seemed like
My performance, I'm always so critical of myself, but Nico was the one time where I'm like, no, I feel like I'm just doing really well.
No, that's good to hear. I mean, like, every time I was doing Rin, I just felt like I was dying inside because it sounded awful.
That being said,
Now you know how I feel voicing Hanayo, my throat.
That being said, being compared to Nico means that I'm just like a Reddit thing, because that's like and I don't know how to feel about that.
Look, Nico is like the best character in the original series, so it's fine.
Alright.
If you like the memes, yeah.
I'm laughing at just how it's like, Tanner, play this character.
Look, I have this was a premeditated decision, and don't take it personally. Or do. I had you in mind from like several weeks prior.
I'm the Reddit man.
And there's I don't know if it's next chapter, but there is gonna be more Nico.
Alright, I'm having fun. I'm having fun playing her. I've never heard her original voice, but I hope I capture the essence of her personality.
I believe you did.
Yeah.
Erica Mendez would be proud.
Thank you.
And Hanayo's actress would be wondering what the heck is going on with me. Yeah, fun fact, I cannot pronounce her name, and I will not make that attempt to butcher it. Hanayo's English actress voiced Sachi in Sword Art Online.
Oh, okay. I don't remember who that is.
Look.
Sacrificial lamb girl from the opening with the blue hair.
I heard the word Sword Art Online, and I instantly felt like puking. Weird.
I don't blame you.
Harry says as he watches 3 seasons of the show.
I mean...
Let's end this. Yeah. Has the stream ended? Because if it hasn't, I just want to end it by saying... let me get real close. Sword Art Online is fucking trash.
It's not ended because we haven't actually given proper final thoughts for the chapter.
I only end when we definitively like have nothing else to comment on.
For one, I feel there was a bit of continuity lockout for me because some of this is clearly referencing events from the show,
right?
Which I haven't seen, and I'm like, I'm just kind of I got the general gist, but there was still bits where I'm like, okay.
I can feel that. I do feel that, considering it's a sequel story, I do think the author did a pretty decent job overall, making it fairly, what should we call it? Good for newcomers. Well, in the sense that it's not like you don't necessarily need to know the show, but it does help. Because considering it's a sequel story, I feel like it could have been a lot more rough in terms of that, so I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
I get what you mean, though.
Enjoying it. I think one thing is that despite me having never seen the show, in this chapter introducing all these characters, I instantly got a feel for all of their personalities really well.
Right.
Yeah, Ottermelon did a really good job just kind of properly reintegrating the greater cast of the original series into the story.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You guys get me into this idle bullshit. I swear to God. I swear to God.
I mean, that's down to you.
Run away while you still can, Tanner.
I already like the mean character. That's the worst part.
Nico is the only one in the show who's pretty much well aware of the just general shenanigans that idols have to go through in real life.
Yeah.
She knows how sausage is made, and I respect her for that.
Oh no, I can. I mean, honestly, she seems like someone I would hang out with.
Yeah, I can see that.
because I know what she looks like, and from
Oh, right.
reading this just through how well the text was done, I could picture, and maybe it's because I mean, part of it was illustrated, but even the parts that weren't illustrated, I could just kind of picture her body movements throughout the whole thing. Like, just the type of gestures she would be making, which is good. It shows that I was genuinely believing what was happening throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I can say is that some parts of it seemed a little redundant, like that scene, that one really long scene, you know what I'm talking about, near the end, that really long exchange. It felt like at points they were kind of just repeating themselves.
Hmm. Are you talking about the thing, the Katori scene?
Yeah, at points it felt like they were just kind of saying the same thing back and forth. And maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me, and because I'm tired and stupid.
Well, I mean, it's funny you mention that because in the author notes, like, the writer says, like, he or she, whatever, I don't know the gender again, they rewrote that part several times and they still weren't 100% happy with it, so I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Oh, that's a mood. That's a mood. But no, I've had a good time. I'm gonna go reevaluate some of my personality traits now. I think.
But don't you do that every other week, Tanner?
Yeah,
No,
pretty much.
I swear to God.
I only do it. I only do
But
it.
an insult, that's just an observation.
I only do it because I love and because I know you can take it. I wouldn't do this with someone like Maddie.
Right.
Can you say that in your peach voice, Tanner? Nova?
No! Don't make him do that. Don't encourage him.
No, I'm not going to. You got the joke. You got the joke.
Oh, god. I'm in the last dungeon, by the way.
Alright. Imagine this is all just in Link's head. He's been listening to all of this.
Yeah! This is a dream, after all.
He was this fic earlier and all fucking morons.
Yeah, it's just like, just wakes up, it's like, oh, that was weird. That was a weird dream.
And then he sees me next to him instead, dressed as Nico. At this point, I have become fully kin. I have started kinning Nico.
You've started what now?
You didn't fucking hear me.
I heard something. I've begun kinning in Nico. What does that mean?
Kinning is when it's weird. I don't really get it, but it's when I guess you relate to a character so much that you start dressing as them and acting like them in public. I find
So-
that.
Oh, you... Like, imagining you just going out and doing Nico Knee is freaking hysterical.
Nico need to get the fuck out of here and reevaluate my life.
There we go.
You know, I was waiting to make that joke throughout the whole thing, but I knew it was too easy.
And you still did it anyways. I can respect that.
Yeah.
Oh, damn it.
No, God, though, because I had a friend who told me not to get into this anime because he hates it. And now I'm so sorry to that friend. I hope this... God, no, I can't have this shit happen again. This happened before, that's another story.
But... oh, god.
While this show is called Storytime with Scrappy, I don't think we need to know every story. Well, yes, I enjoyed this chapter. I liked that. I liked it. Yeah. I liked seeing the other members of Muse again, sans Honoka. But we'll get to her soon enough.
Oh yeah, we will. That's gonna be a big one.
Yes, I enjoyed having, you know, I enjoyed having, well, other people with me to read the dialogue. Even if this was probably the longest chapter to date, I think.
Weird.
I will say as well, like, even though it was only like a few lines, I did have some fun joining in this time.
That's nice to know. And we technically did this in a shorter time than last week, but that may have been because we just kind of took breaks. But again, it's a lot easier, at least for me, when there's a group of friends just clearly enjoying themselves.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I actually love this.
Accommodate me. Accommodate me.
I just like give me an opportunity to voice act and just have fun, and I'll probably be enjoying myself.
Yeah, because I've already read this story before, but reading through it with you guys is really entertaining because just getting different perspectives on it and like all the random jokes and stuff.
Go off of which this is based. It's
Could you repeat that, Tanner?
given that I have known nothing of the show, off of which this is based. And the fact that I'm still having a good time, and also that this seems like something I might not even like. I think that says something about the quality. I mean, I still have my criticisms because I'm just a grumpy, cynical fuck, but
You're an actual you're a writer who actually knows how to write. No, wait, hold on. Ottermelon also knows how to write. I just mean that you are a fellow writer, so you kind of recognize like just general like critiques.
I mean, no.
I'm not a monster. I like the story.
Yeah, if I'll be genuine for a second here, I honestly think that Watermelon's story is the best written one we've read so far.
Oh, I'm totally down with that. Yeah. As I frantically go back and look at Deadpool and I'm like, no, actually, I'll look at Deadpool scripts and be like, this is fucking garbage. Why did I fucking write this? What's weird is that, well, I think it also is because that's comedic, and oftentimes I'll write jokes that'll make me laugh at first, and I'll be like, they're not funny to me anymore. No, I had a great time. Watermelon, you're real damn good.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
We thank you again, Ottermelon, for contributing your work without knowing. We
I
didn't
haven't
consult
actually
you.
like messaged them about it. I don't know if you want me to do that, but
Watermelon send this?
no.
We-
I found this for Scrappy, but
But honestly, if they want to hear me say really terrible things over their fan fiction, then well, I don't know why you'd want that, but if there's a market for that, then go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not sure who like. We want to direct people to their stories, but I don't think I ever want to see the authors personally interact with me, because yikes.
Though, if I can be genuine, we could slowly improve this show, because now I have ideas. One thing is casting these characters beforehand.
I did reach out to what was it, the Pit Lana fic or whatever that was, but I never got a response, so.
I think that, yeah. Oh, that one was pretty good. That
Yeah, that was a good one. That was cute.
No, I think that the one thing we could do is, and part of this is my fault, actually figuring out when we can get started, though. I mean, part of the joking around is the fun.
Yeah. I mean, these aren't going to be uploaded, but we had like, what, 2 failed recordings of this?
Scrappy, do you
Hello.
have been struggling a lot with reading? And that's not any offense to you, but if you want, I can take over narration duties.
The original plan was that someone, Lewis being the original candidate, would alternate with me like every chapter or so, or like every half chapter. But yeah, we just kind of, he wasn't present for this, so I kind of just had to take over. I would be more than happy to delegate people to narrate in my absence.
That was some
'Cause-
bars. You're spitting fucking bars, man.
That's just my quote-unquote smart way of saying, please read for me, I can't talk.
Yo, I wouldn't mind. You know what would be fun if I'm getting into narration now? Would be doing some sort of like noir story, because I would have a blast narrating that.
That would be interesting.
I'll look into that. Yeah, there's really no reason why there's no reason that, how do I put this? I don't have to narrate everything, that's just tradition at this point. I can absolutely step down for a few episodes.
I think you've done it out of obligation because it's your show, but I think it would be a good idea to balance it out a little bit more, yeah. That would be
I think I
nice.
want to write, I hope to write more Deadpool and bring it onto the show purely because I really love Nova's Deadpool.
Yeah, that was a fun episode.
I mean, you guys found my stupid jokes funny.
Yes, the Smash Bros. And Deadpool night was probably my favorite episode recording, just for a myriad of reasons.
I can see that.
I hope some of it was because of my writing.
See, now I read your story ahead of time. I hadn't touched a Smash Bros. Story in several years.
I think this one, God, I'm so excited to start writing for that series again. Because I've been taking a bit of a break, but I'm really excited to start doing it again. Because that's always fun.
Yeah.
On a break, you say, like me with my story. Definitely coming soon.
On a break, like with me with my video script, that's like coming in like 2035.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you could like make it 2095 and just title it "Yours Truly." That's an ELO reference. Electric Light Orchestra. Great band.
Sounds like a Mega Man cover band.
Can't do anything with
They
this.
what's weird is the Megas did do a cover of that song.
So, any other final thoughts?
Not particularly. I think we pretty much nailed it on the head.
Yeah, well, this was 2 hours. So we'll have to be back for another chapter, and I mean chapter singular, next week. We are slowly making our way through this.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm here for it. God, I hope
I felt a bit more energetic this time than the prior episodes with this story, and I guess.
What's weird is that I was tired, and I felt the same way.
Yeah, you have the excuse of, having a job, though. I might just be a little fatigued doing narration, honestly.
Yeah, that's
I
fair.
can do the narration.
That's fair.
Would you like me, Ron?
Any one of you are free to narrate this to your heart's content. We can alternate, and I am totally fine with that.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
Lewis
'cause
did a good job when he was
because you
doing
sound
it.
like you need a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I could use a break. It might improve my mood. Look, it's a good story and it deserves someone who's gonna trip over his words every 30 seconds. Being generous. So yeah, we'll talk about that in the coming days. And yeah, let's actually, you know, to respect the actual fiction stories being read, let's try and suss out who's voicing who before we start next time.
Yeah. I mean, we can
This is
still
fair.
make jokes. I feel like we can always still make jokes, but... Yeah, I can see it limiting itself. I get that.
Yeah, it's fair.
I'm fine with the riffs. I think we should have. I do agree with you though. Some semblance of professionalism would be appreciated.
Yeah.
You guys have it. I
on
just don't
this
cast
show?
well.
On this show, blasphemy. No, I'm kidding.
On this show with the frizz?
No way. Oh gosh, I'm so tired. I can't even meme that properly. Yeah, cruising down Main Street. What was I saying?
That
Yes, story good. My narration usually all right, but notably more fidgety this week.
Fuck. You know what? For the sake of everyone here, I'm gonna say it, and then I'm gonna go, like, down my entire bottle of Fireball so I can
Okay.
forget I said it.
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna do.
Oh dear.
Gondi!
Oh my god.
Go, I feel so... You have to... Okay. My soul left my body as I said that. My soul... My soul is no longer here.
You know I gotta use this for a video now, right?
I'm gonna fucking kill you! Burn this! Burn this! This is how close the episode. We are done. Burn this!
When Tanner's here, you never know what's gonna happen next.
Alright, yeah, well, I think we can close this with... Yeah,
Burn
this...
it.
Alright,
So,
guys.
next...
Yeah.
Yeah. Tanner ended, like, there's no way to top that. Next week, we will resume till we make our ascent, this lovely, lively story by Ottermelon. And hopefully someone will narrate it in my stead.
Never voicing Nico again. Fuck this. I take
Yes,
back
you
what
are.
I said. No, I'm gonna have fun. But fuck this.
Beautiful.
My name is ScrappyFan92, and this has been Storytime with Scrappy. We thank you all for your participation.
I hope you all find a railroad spike under your pillows.
Wow. Okay. Good night, everybody.
And once again, Star Wars coming up in the near future. Oh, did you stop or?
No,
are
no,
we
it's
going?
still going.
Okay, hi. I don't know how to keep time. Star Wars fan fiction reading coming in the nearest future. We put a video up on that separately. Casting call if you want. What now, Tanner?
Future.
I heard future.
I said near future, but I've been like having this Shaw sound coming out kind of frequently for this entire night. Like,
Favorite Cartoon Network show. Mine is Steven Universe Future.
Oh my god.
like I'm just afraid I'll just slip into some parody Sean Connery speech pattern. Like, I've been worried this whole night about that.
Nah,
What was I gonna say?
I just like giving people shit.
See, I like to do that too, which is why I'm going to give you the next chapter of my story, The Super Mario Show, coming soon.
Oh, end the episode. That's how you segue. Bada bing, bada boom.
Audition for our Star Wars story reading. Please and thank you, and have a good night.
Alright, can I stop now?
Yes, you can stop. You should have stopped this whole series a long time ago.
This was the most fun episode I've ever done. I hope Nico gets more lines.
Oh, she will.
She will.
She will.
I hate that. You know what I hate most? I hate how natural that role felt to me.
I mean, Junior came pretty naturally to you two, so make of that
yes.
what you will.
It's true.
Means I'm a child? That's not entirely untrue. No, I'm a man with childish traits.
Well, does that make Junior a child with mannish traits? I could kind of see that. Junior would probably think he is the apex of masculinity.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
does.
definitely.
I mean, you've seen like the animations in Mario Strikers. Can I talk about that game? I want another Mario Strikers because that game gave all the Mario characters so much personality through the animations.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, we have to relive while we just crotch shopping for the rest of our lives. Thank you, Next Level Games.
Wow, no, wait, gee, yeah.
I think that was the game that made me fall in love with the Wario Brothers. Wait, no, I just said that I fell in love with, and no, that's not what I meant.
You're not. It's okay. I mean, first of all, there's nothing wrong with that, but you're not. The stream's not even record. Well, the YouTube part of the stream isn't recording.
I know, but Nova's